Morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Saturday morning. While caregiving for a loved one can be very rewarding, it also involves many stresses. Now, if the stress of caregiving is unchecked, it can take a toll on our health, relationships, and mind. The COVID-19 pandemic, soon to move into the endemic phase in our country, has really put mental health in the spotlight. Now, this morning, we are privileged to have Father Philip Chua share with us on caregiver and mental health. Allow me a few minutes to give Father Chua a proper introduction. So, Father Philip Chua is the assistant parish priest of the Church of Holy Family in Kajang. He is also the ecclesiastical assistant for the Archdiocese Mental Health Ministry. Father Philip is a registered and licensed counselor, as well as a certified counseling supervisor under Lembaga Counselor Malaysia. He is an EMDR2 psychotherapist, a qualification he obtained from EMDR International. He's a certified behavior consultant from IML USA. He has a master's in counseling from HELP and a licentiate of sacred theology from STL. Good morning and welcome, Father Philip.
Good morning, Jacinta, and good morning to all our viewers in our YouTube. A very good morning to all of you. Yeah.
How are you feeling this morning, Father Philip?
Okay, I'm feeling great this morning. Yeah.
That's
supposed to go
wonderful.
for jogging. Yeah. Then we stay
Thank you
back
for
to
being with us, Father.
Sure, no worry.
So we're all
We had
looking
to,
very forward to your talk today, Father.
yeah. Right. I think that these caregivers and mental health is actually a very demanding thought from the parishioners, because throughout my 26 years as a priest, a lot of caregivers come and ask for help and consultants. So this morning I'm going to share a bit of my knowledge and a bit of research, and I'm going to share some tips how to take care of our mental health as caregivers.
Thank you, Father.
Good. All right. So I'd like to just ask a few questions for your own self-assessment. Try to assess your situation now if you are a caregiver now, no? In the last 2 weeks. How many hours have you spent assisting an aging friend or family members with errands like grocery shopping, transportation, sent to hospital, pharmacies, now bank, and etc. Maybe you can think about it, right? When we starting this talk, right? And then how many times if you have to cancel or change your personal plans because an aging loved one require your assistant to be there at home? You know? How many hours have you spent worrying about your loved ones when you are a caregiver? So how many times have you had to adjust your work schedule because of your loved ones who are under your care? I just want you to have that reflection and think about that. And Jacinta, just ask you one last question. That is, on a scale of 1 to 10, being not at all, 1 being not at all, and 10 being completely prepared, how prepared do you feel to take care of an aged loved one right now?
Father, this is a pop quiz I wasn't expecting, but if I were to answer, honestly, I think I would probably put myself somewhere in the middle, around 5, simply because my parents had serious health issues in the past, and so we did talk about caregiving, but also what they wanted towards the end in terms of how we would say farewell to them. But if you ask specifically on how we can take care of them, I think definitely I am very unprepared. And I've seen, among my friends and family, how much of time and commitment and
That's right.
struggle it takes. So I definitely feel unprepared.
Correct. Yeah. So I think you are very right, because at the same time you're working and you have to juggle your work, your family, and also have to take care of your beloved parents. Of course, it will take some time off your privacy, your schedule, your even your free time. You cannot enjoy like before, no. So because you have to focus and commit to another role as a caregiver in your family. Yeah. Okay. Another question I ask you, Jacinta, just in case now, if you are not well one morning, and you cannot be available for your beloved parents, who would you think would take the place of your place?
I think further, if it was a short term, illness, I know for a fact my husband would be more than happy to, shoulder that. But definitely in the longer term, in terms of the full caregiver capacity, at least I am able to entrust my sister on that.
Very
So
good.
I know not many people maybe have that
That's
flexibility,
right. Yeah.
because
Hmm.
their siblings may be away, or or maybe they might be the only child, and so yeah,
Yeah,
it,
there are a
it
lot
is a
of
difficult.
difficulties here. So I can see that at least you have a husband, you have sisters around. They can take turns to come in and help, so that you also have a space for yourself and take care of your health, and also at the same time, we rotate to take care of your uh, parent. So I think it's very, very
Yeah,
uh, good, and you are very blessed because you have siblings and your
indeed.
husband is around to help you out. There are a lot of people in our society. We have find difficulty for people to replace them because they are the sole provider of the caregiving in the family, and they find a lot of stress. I remember uh, before the lockdown, somebody came and talked to me that you know uh, he's the only person who take care of his mother, and he find difficult, during lockdown, work from home very demanding, and unfortunately his mother fell down and broke his hip, and that was a lot of turmoil, and a lot of mental stress that he has gone through. Okay, so this morning
I
I
can
like to,
imagine.
yeah, yeah, correct. I like to mention about this one so that we have a background of what is caregiver and how a caregiver can handle their mental health. Yeah. Okay. So I like to start with a definition. A caregiver. What is a caregiver? No. So normally when we talk about a caregiver, refers to a non-professional, no? Like our family members lah, who provides unpaid care for others in home. No? So what are the responsibility for attending to the daily needs of another person? Yeah. Also responsible for the physical, emotional, and often financial support of another person who is unable to take care of him or herself due to illness, maybe due to injury, or maybe due to disability. So the care recipient might be a member of the caregiver's family of origin, or his or her family of choice, or maybe a friend, a neighbor, or a support group member or life partner. Yeah, yeah. So these are the definition. So another thing we want to talk about is who is considered a caregiver. How does it look like? So caregiving is the act of providing assistance to individuals who are no longer able to perform tasks on their own due to physical, mental, or safety concern. So caregiving is the act of providing unpaid assistance, as I said just now, so who have physical, psychological, or developmental needs. Actually, caring for others generally takes on three forms: instrumental, emotional, and informational caring. Yeah. So these are the things that we can consider as a caregiver. Now, just now in the beginning, Jacinta has also mentioned that during this uh, era of COVID-19 pandemic, sometimes it's very difficult for us to find a replacement, for us as a caregiver. Like you can, if you are working full time, husband and wife working full time, and they need somebody to take care of the elderly parents. So you want to ask somebody to come in to help pay care worker, it's not easy because a lot of fear, a lot of difficulties. There's no longer there are foreign workers can help, this and that, and nurses are all occupied. So we can receive some unexpected effects of caregiving. Number one, it's a family relationships are challenged. Everybody had to come in, like just now, Jacinta, you said that if you're not well one morning and temporary, your siblings or your husband come in. So all of the schedule of the family members are all challenged. And if the family members are very willing to help, siblings are very cooperative, they chip in and take turns and rotate the time to come in. So the relationship between one another in the family is improved, it's okay. However, there are some family members, the siblings does not want to help. They don't want to come and visit, they don't chip in with financial help. If one person to do all this, he or she become overburdened, overstressed, overworked, and become burnt out. Yeah. So unexpected effects of caregiving, number one is family relationship are challenged. Yeah. I don't know the other community. However, there are some community when talk about caregiving, they won't help. But when talk about taking over the properties, the financial assets of the elderly parents, they are out there for the waiting list. So these are the challenges. And of course, social life changes. Social life means that when you are a caregiver, whether you are full-time or part-time, you have less time for yourself. You spend more time on your loved ones. And also unplanned expenses. We know that at this moment that we want to send our loved ones to hospitals for physiotherapy. All these will increase our financial expenses. And also caregiving impacts our work productivity. Actually, we cannot actually do full time in just helping our loved ones. We need our work to do. We have a work to do. We have a family life to take care of, and also that will affect our careers goals, and also affect our retirement. For example, a spouse who are helping each other. The husband is taking care of the wife, or the wife taking care of the husband. Supposed to have a good retirement together. They enjoy life. However, because of that, then the retirement cannot be fulfilled. Yeah? They have to spend more time and taking care of others. Okay, right? So, yeah. So up to now, okay. It's okay, Jacinta?
Yes, Father. Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. So now, as caregiver Pearls, how are you doing? Just now we say that our social life has challenges because we cannot enjoy activities what we previously enjoyed, and our emotional pain overshadows our pleasure, and sometimes we may feel depressed. If we are preoccupied and nervous about our loved ones, we may be experiencing anxiety. So caregiving often involves a range of emotions. When a person is physically not well or mentally not well, there's a range of emotions involved in our caregiving, because a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, almost to say a person is aging and is not able to function well physically, mentally. The caregiver experience a lot of stress, and we're feeling that our own needs are getting lost. We may find angry, we can find resentment. Our feelings are all these feelings are perfectly normal for us. Yeah. The another thing we want to talk about is what are the contributing factors for caregiver stress? Number one, we can talk about the role confusion. Role as a caregiver and also family members, either your spouse, your parents, your child. It might not be necessary, that the younger generation taking care of the older generation. Maybe the younger generation, they have some physical disability due to accidents, due to some sickness. No, elderly parents have to take care of the children, and that role confusion. I remember a couple of years ago, I went to visit a family who's the single mother. The son has a very serious accident, and his son is paralyzed, and the elderly mother had to take care of him. I find that there is a role confusion there. I suppose the younger generation take care of the elderly parents. However, now it's the other way around. And there are also unreasonable demands for ourselves and for others. We want to do our best to our parents. However, sometimes now we demand it to be perfect, and other siblings demand on us everything, and they will create more stress for us. Sometimes our sibling might not be able to contribute in caregiving to our elderly parents. They only come dropping for a while, say hi and bye, and that's all. So other than that, they don't do it. So the sole caregiver will become very stressful because of unreasonable demands. Yeah. And then unrealistic expectations. Feeling responsible for making care recipient better, improving their health or life circumstances, etc. So maybe we put a lot of unrealistic expectation. We want to do the best for them, and something beyond our ability and our capacity. So that might contribute some stress. Yeah, some stress. So now, for those who are a caregiver at home now, I like our viewers to reflect. What are some of your early warning signs of distress if you are a caregiver now? What do you notice in your body? Do you feel very, very tense? Do you feel very, very tired? How about your thoughts? How about your ideas, your interpretations? What are your expectations and judgments that may run through your mind at this moment? What emotions may be present? So I'd like you to reflect as you listen to this talk. And the earliest sign that we can trace in our distress, then we can handle it well. We cannot wait for the last minute, right? So I don't know, Jacinta, do you find any other of your friends or relatives are taking care of their loved ones and they are feel very distressed now?
Definitely, Father. I know, of people who are taking care of family members who actually right now need palliative care. And I think
Yes,
that's one of the hardest things because you are grieving, but you cannot, focus on your grief because, you are mentally, physically, and emotionally
correct.
invested, in that family member. And so it is, I know when you talked about the emotions that are present, it really hit home for me about the kind of turmoil that they're going through because you
Mm,
really have no time to focus on yourself and you have to
right,
focus.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I hope all your friends and relatives uh, are also viewing this YouTube, and we can share our knowledge and exchange our knowledge together. Yeah.
Sure,
Okay.
Father.
Good. Okay. It's what you said just now. The effects of caregiving on health and well-being. Of course, it will affect health and well-being. We have sleep deprivation. We can sleep at night because sometimes that our loved ones need some attention for us. Maybe hungry, maybe not feeling well. And we also have poor eating habits because the timing is different, all upside down, and we might have lack of time for exercise, for leisure time. And we have no time to stay in bed when we are ill. And we have to postpone medical appointments, even our own medical appointments we have to postpone. Caregivers are at increased risk for depression, excessive use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. So if you do not know how to take care of the mental health, we might be moving to the other direction. We might seek for drinking to help us to sleep at night. Because of the lot of stress and anxiety, we use tobacco to help us to release stress. And that will not help us in improving our mental health. It will make more side effect for a lot of us, and a lot of stress for us, and it will cause a lot of problems. Yeah. So now we like to look at what does caregiver burnout look like. The more we can see about physical, changes in appetite or weight, because you worry too much, there might not be appetite and you lose weight, or you be extreme, don't lose, don't eat, or you eat a lot and lose weight or overweight. Changes in sleep patterns because you're taking care of the loved ones. Maybe your loved ones does not want to sleep in the daytime. They stay in the nighttime, stay in the daytime, and nighttime your loved one is awake, and you have to also be there, and it's upside down. And getting sick more frequently because of the stress involved. More frequent prescription medication use and need for healthcare services. How about emotionally? You feel more depressed, anxious, and irritable. Irritable means that little thing, your loved ones that you're taking care of did something wrong, then you become very irritated. You show your temperament, things like that. It might be also withdrawal from friends, family, and with other loved ones, because emotionally you feel very depressed. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to meet other people. You withdraw from them. And also your loss of interest in activities previously enjoyed, because your time involved in taking care of them, and other interests you're no more. Last time maybe you like to do pastry, to like to cooking, now you don't be able to enjoy all these activities. Like Jacinta, what type of interest do you do normally during your leisure time?
So, Father, I think for me, yes, baking is something that I do enjoy.
Yeah.
I have the time on the weekends, and definitely reading. So it's, yeah, at least now, especially in this pandemic, it's like a source of escape. But
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. So another thing is a feeling of wanting to hurt yourself or the person for whom you are caring. So that is about suicide ideation, self-harm, because your emotions are so overwhelming. You don't know how to handle your emotions, so you want to harm yourself, hurt yourself to alleviate your emotional pain, and that is not healthy at all. Another thing is psychosocial, reduce quality of life, decrease family functioning. At times you have some family functioning you can attain now, you become less ready because you have to taking care of your loved ones. And maybe also relationship breakdown among your siblings, especially when they want to involve in taking care of your loved ones, with your elderly parents. So that might be happen. So this I got the research from the Cleveland Clinic 2019. Yeah. So basically, we talk about this. We can summarize like we might go through depression and anxiety. stress and frustration because every day to do the same thing, every day to run all the errands, you have to do everything by yourself, and there might be some harmful behavior as well. We said just now, like drinking, smoking, harming yourself, and some health issue because your lack of sleep, lack of exercise, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. So you will affect your health as well, affect your health. So, um, so all these we need to take care. From the research, about 1/10 of caregiver report that caregiving has caused their physical health to get worse. Caregivers also report chronic conditions including heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, at least twice the rate of non-caregivers. So caregivers have a 23% higher level of stress hormones and a 15% lower level of antibody responses. So you see, if we are taking care of our caregiver and don't know how to take care of ourselves, it might cause some health issues in our life as well. No? Okay, another thing is the self-neglect. Spousal caregivers who provide 36 or more hours per week of care are more likely to smoke and consume more saturated fat. Because sometimes a person who's very stressful like to take a lot of these saturated fat, like what, Can you give me an example?
So I suppose it would be something like comfort foods, right, Father?
Comfort
So
food, yeah,
probably,
correct.
yeah,
Yeah, it looks very nice, it tastes very nice. However, excessive will cause some,
exactly.
uh,
In the long
yeah, self-neglect of our own health. And also, nearly 3/4, about 72% of caregivers reported that they had not gone to the doctor as often as they should. And more than half, 55% had missed doctor's appointments. So the self-neglect, they don't know how to take care of themselves. And caregivers' self-care suffers because they lack of time and energy to prepare proper meals or exercise. They not time to prepare their own meals. And about 6 in 10 caregivers in a national survey report that their eating and exercising habits are worse than before. So there's no time to exercise. Uh, I think exercise are very important to help us to distress ourselves, to feel relaxed. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. Of course, increased mortality. So there's one report saying that elderly sponsor caregivers aged between 66 to 96 who experience caregiving related stress have 63% higher mortality rate than non-caregivers of the same age. Women who spend 9 or more hours a week caring for an ill or disabled spouse double the risk of heart disease. So that is a lot of physical and emotional effects of our caregiving if you don't know how to take care of ourselves. That's why this sharing of caregivers' mental health are very important for us. Yeah. Okay. And also another thing is a burden. Burden for the caregivers because everything had to depend on ourselves, right? Okay. So now let's look at, is it stress or is it burnout? So we have to look into our life as a caregiver. If we feel all this stress with anxiety, depression, up to cutting back on leisure activity, and also burnout, then we have less energy than before. It seems like the individual caught every cold or flu thing that is going around. So if you find that from stress to burnout, then you have to be careful already. So feeling helpless, hopeless, feeling increasing impatient and irritable with the patient being cared for. So we are in the stage of burnout already. Yeah. So here I look at into the stages of caregiver burnout. First stage is we will find that it is in the frustration stage. The primary caregiver expresses continuing frustration and disappointment over the care recipients, especially when the health is deteriorating or lack of progress. The primary caregiver has difficulty in accepting that the quality of care and effort has nothing to do with the actual health related decline or mood of the care recipient. Yeah? You find very frustrated. Then after that, do you move to the next stage? Is a stage of isolation. Uh, the primary caregiver struggles to maintain a sense of purpose in working so hard to provide care. He or she may express feelings of loneliness, maybe have a feeling of unappreciated. He or she does a lot and not being appreciated by the relatives, by the family members, and certain cases or criticized by other family members and the care recipient. They're not. They criticize. Oh, you should do this. I should come here and do that. Now you should bath him or her like this. Now they should do like this. A lot of criticism from the family members or relatives. So then you become despair. Despair means that the primary caregiver feels helpless. The primary caregiver is unable to concentrate and loses effectiveness as a caregiver. And he or she is no longer excited about the progress or response of the care recipient to quality care. So, consequences, the primary caregiver neglects personal care and well-being and loses interest in the community. No more social contact, no more want to involve in the busy, don't want to go to the church, and respite activities such as reading, watching movies or other stimulating activities. So there are the stages of caregiver burnout, from frustration and isolation and despair. So you see, if we are in these stages, we have to be careful already. Start from the first stage. All right. So this is the stages that we need to consider. Okay. Right. So this one I got it from preventing caregiver burnout by James R. Sherman. Okay, another thing that we want to talk about is why is caregiver burden important to assess? As we know that it is the quality of life and health of the caregiver, and the impact of the quality of care given to your loved ones, and also bi-directional relationship between the caregiver and the caregiver. Caregiver stress impacts the anxiety, depression, and cancer patients. High expressed emotion found to be a predictor of re-hospitalizations. So all this we need to consider, all right, so that we will be able to understand how we can understand our burden, our caregiver burden, how to do that. So over here, I have found out one resources that we can find ways to measure caregiver burnout, right? Maybe Jacinta Letong or Crystal can put in the YouTube for our viewers to assess this one. It's called Jerry Burden interview. And from this Jerry interview, there are altogether 22 questions. And in the 22 questions here, so it's very easy. You just read the questions, and then there's a score from 0 to 4. 0 being never, 1 being rarely, 2 being sometimes, 3 quite frequently, and 4 nearly always. So if you can do this interview by yourself at home, and then you don't think too much when you read these questions, and you just circle the scoring at the last column there. And then after that, you sum up all the scoring. And if 0 to 21 means you have no burden, little or no burden. If 21 to 40, then you consider mild to moderate burden. If you can score 41 to 60, then it is a severe burden already. If you score 61 to 88, then it is a very severe burden. Severe burden means that it's a burnout. It's a burnout. So I like all our viewers to do at home after the talk, and you will try to evaluate yourself. Yeah, which we cannot do it online. It's not easy. If it's not Zoom, then we can do it together. Okay. Okay. So final questions, Jacinta.
Yeah, Father.
Any questions you want to ask or clarify here?
Yeah, so Father, when you talk about this Zarek Burden interview, I suppose this is a resource which, if you do find yourself with moderate or even severe burden, you can take it to a counselor or someone
Right.
to help
Yes.
provide resources, right, Father?
Right, correct. Yeah. This is actually it's a self assessment for yourself, and then if you find that you are very serious burden or burnout, or what they call moderate to severe burden, then you have to seek for professional help.
Okay.
If the tips that I'm going to give you later on does not help you, then you have to talk to a professional one. Yeah,
Okay. Thank
that's
you.
all. Yeah. Okay. Come. Okay. Now we're going to talk to watch a video together.
I feel so guilty when I take even 10 minutes for myself.
I lie awake most nights worrying about my sister. I'm so tired during the day. I find myself getting upset by simple things like when my sister calls to tell me how she's doing. I love her so much and I should be glad she's calling, but instead I just feel overwhelmed.
I'm supporting my friend through the ups and downs of his treatment journey, but I feel exhausted and stressed most days too. How am I supposed to help when I feel this way?
I have so much weighing on me. I work, take care of my kids, and help my mom when her mental illness gets bad. No one understands what I'm going through.
These are the voices of people who are providing support to loved ones with mental illness. So often when we provide care for others, we forget to take care of ourselves too. This can lead to burnout, which is caused by physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion. Some signs of burnout are feeling overwhelmed or stressed out and having constant negative self-talk. If you aren't taking care of yourself, it can be difficult to help someone else. Proper self-care is important to ensure you stay healthy and have a good mindset to continue to provide the necessary support to others without burning out from exhaustion and stress. Here are some things you can do to practice good self-care. Move your body. Make sure to move your body every day. Exercise under the direction of your physician is great, but even things like dancing, housework, gardening, or simply going for a walk can help. When you start to feel overwhelmed, sometimes changing your environment for just a little bit can ease some of the stress.
I've just been so stressed out. Last week I had a friend come over and help me out just so I could go for a walk. I felt much calmer when I came home.
Breathe. You don't have to physically leave to take some time away from stress. Sometimes just taking a few minutes to focus on your breathing can help you feel better and reduce your stress. Yoga and meditation are also great activities that use breathing exercises for self-care.
Last week, my having a rough day. When I left his home and got in my car, I was really upset. I started doing some deep breathing exercises. After a few minutes, I felt so much better and I could refocus. Breathing helped to recenter myself before I drove away.
Follow a healthy diet. Eating a balanced diet and staying hydrated with water is just as important as any other self-care practice. Talk to your doctor about the right diet for you.
I didn't have time to cook every day, so I started to prepare meals ahead of time. It was a relief not to worry about what I was going to eat for each meal.
Sleep. With all the demands from daily life on top of being a caregiver, sleep can sometimes be hard to come by. Worrying can keep you up, tossing and turning. It is important to get a good night's sleep so that you feel rested, refreshed, and alert. If you are having difficulty sleeping, try to develop a schedule for your sleep. Make a bedtime routine and try to stick to it. Turn off electronics before getting into bed. Reducing caffeine before sleep can help as well. Finally, make your sleeping environment dark, cool, and comfortable.
I was on my phone too much before I went to bed. I started to put my phone away before I got into bed, and I found that I fell asleep peacefully. I've been feeling more rested lately.
Build a support network. Being a caregiver can be challenging at times, but building a dependable support network can have tremendous value for your own self-care. It's important to talk to other people, ask questions, or lean on others for emotional support.
My husband and I joined a support group in our area for other caregivers, just like us. It helps to talk to others who are going through the same issues we are. It makes us feel like we aren't alone in this, that if other men and women can support their loved ones with mental illness, we can too.
Practicing good self-care can be one of the most important things you do as a caregiver. Remember to take time for yourself, be kind to yourself, speak positively to yourself, and acknowledge that your situation can be tough no matter how much you care for the person you are supporting. It is not a weakness to ask for help and support. When you take care of yourself, you can better take care of those you love.
Okay, Jacinta, how do you find this video for a caregiver?
It's very illuminating, Father. I think, we spoke earlier about that story. I always hear about caregivers, people who are in an aeroplane, right, on a flight. During the safety instruction, they always advise to put the oxygen mask for yourself first
Yep.
before you actually do it for your child or, the person you're with.
Correct.
And I think that's, the real message in what you've been sharing and with this video too.
Correct. It's find very useful for us, right? As a
Yes.
caregiver, right? Yeah. In the video, it also mentioned about avoiding negative thoughts also. Doing exercise, find time to exercise, find time to have a rest. Good sleep is important. Asking for help, all these are mentioned there. Yeah. So this I will put in this slide. You see, avoid negative side is important. Try to positive self-talk. Yeah. No time to exercise, find time to exercise. Things that you say, if I don't do it, no one else, no one will. Actually, if you don't ask, nobody know you need help. Yeah. If you are overburdened already, you need to ask for help. You cannot just do it all by yourself. So this is something that we need to take note of. Yeah? A family must come together as one to help one another. If there's no family members, might be some case for some family they don't have someone at home. Maybe it's only sole caregiver. Then maybe the community, the BEC, the friends, the close friend can come and
All together, absolutely.
take a time off.
Yeah.
Okay. So for caregiver first, set goals. Decide what you would like to accomplish in the next 3 to 6 months to take care of yourself. Yeah. Take a break from caregiving. Okay. Get help with caregiving tasks like bathing and preparing meals. These things other people can do, because for bedridden caregiving recipients, might not be enough for one person to do it. Maybe you have 2%, at least 3% to carry, to take shower for the caregiving recipients. Engage activities which make you more feel healthy, social exercise, right? And make an action plan also. I remember there's one presenter came to our center to present how to taking care of the elderly people, especially bedridden. You make action plan like timetable. When the recipient is sleeping, resting, you also take a sleep at the same time. Maybe Sunday is an off day for you, so they can go to church, go to relax in the garden, do exercise, and ask somebody else to come in to replace you for Sunday. Saturday, maybe your sibling can come in to prepare the meal, to the clean out. So then you have the time for yourself, for yourself. Okay, and make a plan for a physical checkup also on yourself, because taking care of the caregiving recipient is not that easy. So you need to have also our physical checkups important, maybe once a year or twice a year, physical checkup. And take a half-hour break once during the week if you can, so that you have a time for you to do breathing techniques, breathing exercise. Work 3 times a week for 10 minutes at least. Just now the video show us that we need to do some exercise, moving our body. Cannot be there all the time, sit down there, right? Yeah, okay. So how to reduce personal stress? Recognizing the warning signs. We feel very irritable, we have sleep problems, we have forget. So don't wait until you are overwhelmed. These are the warning signs. Take care of it. Take note of it. And identify sources of stress. Ask yourself, what is causing stress for me? Ask yourself. Where are the sources of stress? Maybe family disagreements. If you decide to bring your elderly parents to go to hospital, to this hospital, they don't agree, this and that. So maybe family disagreement cause you the stress or feeling of inadequacy, or the ability to say no at times. Yeah. So identify what you can and cannot change. What do I have some control over? What can I change? So the internal control is within, external control is environment and other people. So identify what you can change and what cannot change. And of course, take action. What are the stress reducer? Exercise, walking, gardening, meditation, prayer, have coffee with a friend. Now I don't know whether we can still very comfortably go to a coffee shop to have coffee or not. We are in the phase 2 in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor. If you can, with the open air space, I think it's still okay, right? It's a ventilation, right, Jacinta?
Father, yeah, and virtual coffees or virtual,
Coffee, yes.
get-togethers. I think
Yeah,
making the time for each other, even if it's just a phone conversation,
that's
also
right.
I think it helps.
That's right. Yeah. So with that, then we try to understand how do we cope with caregiver burnout. So we find out the main cause. What the main cause? Prioritize the needs and interests of their loved one, have unrealistic expectation, lack of support from family, juggle multiple commitments. These are the main causes. And what are the signs of burnout? We have anxiety, thinking too much, depressed, constantly feel exhausted, neglecting our own well-being, falling asleep more often, changes in sleep pattern, changes in appetite and weight. These are the signs of burnout. So what are the prevention tips? We have to set realistic expectation, and also embrace your role as caregiver. Sometimes to put a hand on your shoulder and say, I do my best, I did very well. Embrace. Practice self-care, join a caregiver support group. Because when people come together and share, they can actually what do you call, share their own resources together, and share their feelings. Take regular breaks. Just for example, 10 minutes exercise. Relax and meditate. Relax means you relax your mind. Meditation, prayer, say rosary together. I remember I visit one family where the elderly mother uh, was bedridden for many years, and she said rosary together with the elderly mother. Say together as because when we start praying, we receive extra divine help and strength from grace, from God, and that is important for all of us. Yeah. Okay. So Jacinta, do you find this coping with caregiver burnout is this useful for you?
Definitely, Father. I think, interestingly, a lot of what you share could also be applied, in other areas of our life when it deals with, mental health. But, the important part is about making sure that, you as a caregiver, you do receive that support, whether it's from family and to ask for that help, or to look for other resources, like you said, Father, a caregiver support group. I think
Mhm.
that's something that maybe not a lot of people
Mm.
realize, that there might be some resources out there for them, even if they feel alone in their journey.
Correct. Yes, true. Yeah, because when they start sharing, they also can express their emotions, their feeling freely, and they can exchange the resources that they went through. They won't find that they were only alone. They are not alone at all. It's a group of people. They are also doing the same thing, and when they come together and chit chat and start build up networking, they can build up the resilience. Another one is communicate with the physicians. If you not understand the medical condition of your recipients, your loved ones, talk to the physician, build a partnership with the physicians, prepare question ahead of time, make a list of most important thing, concern and problem that you face, also ask the nurse for questions, answer questions, take some with you so that you can remember what the physician and nurse said, so that you won't be uh, too much of information you forgot, and also use assertive and specific communication. When especially talk about the diagnosis of the loved ones, how you prepare well for the future. If there's something that is complicated procedure need to do, if you feel running down, so how do you take care of yourself for medical checkup, this and that. Yeah. And then another one is accept help is important. Don't say thank you, but I am fine. When people want to help us, we need help. Yes, just extend your help and accept help. Help can come from the community resources, from your family, from your friends, and also for professionals. That's important. Also, prepare a list of things that need doing. Use specific I statement. I would like to go to church on Sunday. Would you stay with my grandma for 9 a.m. until noon? So ask for help. And I think that is important for all of us. We cannot just stay at home all the time without connecting to the church. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what the benefit of caregiving? Of course, you positive experience from the caregiving, right? A sense of giving back to someone who has cared for you. The satisfaction of knowing their loved one is being properly cared of. They also got personal growth and increased meaning and purpose in their own life, and improve relationship with the loved ones. And also spending quality time with the loved one in the later stages of their life. So this is the positive experiences from caregiving. And what are the continued benefits? You receive stamina and strength, improve the cognitive abilities and critical thinking skills, because it helps you to have a critical thinking skill, no? Awareness of resources, long-term care options, and also we receive caregiving challenges for ourselves and for our loved ones. Yeah. From the challenges, then you'll find that you will start grow to be a more mature Christians to help your loved ones. Yeah. Okay. So the next session, I want to talk about ABC of caregiving. ABC of caregiving. So this is actually a summary for everything. So A means ask for help. B means banking. Uh, you must know the access of the bank account of your loved one so they can draw money out to pay for the expenses. And also your community resources that you have, right? Your BEC, the networking. And as a caregiver, sometimes you cannot do everything by yourself. You need to delegate to your family members, your siblings, things that you can delegate. Don't do everything yourself. Emotions, caregiving is an emotional ride. We call it a roller coaster. Sometimes very high up, sometimes very down. There will be days of anger, depression, loneliness, anxiety. So these feelings are normal given the circumstances. To balance the darker days, there will also be days of laughter, love, joy. So what we do is we release these days, not ourselves. And the next one we need to know is that the ABC of caregiving is forgiveness. In the daily stress of caregiving, you will have share of difficult days. So when you do difficult days, forgive yourself when you have having a bad day. No one is perfect. Every sunrise marks a new day. Wipe the slate clean and start your day anew. And government, G is for government. It means that there are some government agency that can ask for help. Yeah, you can check with the government agency. H is home health aids. Maybe a good home health aid can be a blessing. Can check that the home health aides can come in to help you out. And of course, medical insurance is important for your parents, so they will cut down the cost of medical fees. And also knowledge. They say that knowledge is power, and this is never truer than when dealing with a health crisis. So learn as much as you can about the loved one is facing now. It will help you to prepare yourself well, right? And another one is the legal aspect. L is legal aspect. So I remember when we in our clergy, the Archbishop asked us to write down our will, when we are still alive, so that what we can give and what we cannot give. So in legal aspect, so the will, the power attorney, and the healthcare proxy is a must for all of us. You consult your lawyer to pay for these documents. Yeah, I think that's very important now for us to know. Not last minute. M is medication, so you must have enough supply of medications, and also nutrition are very important. And then organize your whatever it is, and be patient, and we have questions that ask questions, right? So respite, if your family member is sick, they become the center of your family's world. So it's vital for you to find time for yourself and get a break from your role as a caregiver. Here I put down spirituality because we need to have a divine intervention come to help us as a caregiver. God is always our strength. God is always our helper, especially in times of caregiving. Talk about your feelings about being a caregiver to someone that you can trust. Talk to your loved ones about their feelings, about their health. Talking makes any relationship closer and more loving one. So try to talk about it. And understanding, as a caregiver, you'll be called upon to provide a deep level of understanding to your loved ones. So you need to evaluate each situation to determine what your parents needs. Are they looking for a shoulder to cry on? Are they in pain? Are they lonely? Is it something more? You need to learn to understand the clues, so you can help. The B is a visiting. So because if you have a schedule arranged for your loved ones already, and if your visitors come in anytime they want, then you have no time to prepare for them to come in to visit your elderly parents. So you must have a schedule. Tell them that when they're after they're taking shower, can come in. Don't come in when they are still sleeping or they are still taking shower. And if you're bringing your grandchildren to come in, ask your grandchildren not to sit down there and watch TV or play the TV game or look at the handphone. Go and talk to the grandparents. Ask them to talk about the past story, so that the grannies and grandparents can talk to the grandchildren. So arrange the time for visiting the nurses and doctors. All this must have a timetable, right? And also wishes. So if your loved one is terminal, you must have the talk with them. It is not easy. However, it is very necessary. You must talk about what their final wishes are, including the funeral arrangement and any instruction or not that they wish to pass on. Yeah. And then EX means exercise. We have mentioned a lot already, right, Jacinta? The exercise are very important for us. It's very important. So we need to maintain our own health as well. Exercise manages stress in your life. And why is you? You should not be as the top. You are as a caregiver. You'll be facing a whole new world of challenges that makes you a special and loving person. So you are providing help to someone who desperately needs it. So you are important. You are important. The last one is Z, is zeal. Like anything done well, it requires a commitment to the project. Caregiver is not different. Address your role as a caregiver with zeal and be an advocate for your loved ones. Yeah. So these are the ABCs of caregiving. I have still a few more slides here. This one on the shift. So we are on duty, then remember to take your breaks. Eat, stay hydrated, notify of overwhelmness, ask for help, identify your own emotional responses, advise to rejuvenate, staying hydrated, stretching at intervals, deep breathe to shift, a mini massage. Yeah, this is when you are on duty. Off shift, then you reduce stress, sense of control, identify personal stress reducer. Also work activities, giving rejuvenation versus journeying out. Give yourself a hot shower, a bath, walking, exercise, gardening, meditation, socialize with your friends. So the off shift. So we have on shift and off shift. Yeah. So this is the thing that we need to do. So to sum up, so we need to reorganize ourselves. The 4 R's of coping. Reorganize our life. What do you need to focus on at this time? By organizing your life, you can better structure your needs and the needs of others. Right? Rethink your priorities. What is the most important to you now? By taking a good look at what is most important in your life, you can focus and channel your energy in that area. And R, relax. Find relaxation in exercise, hobbies, go to gym like Jared, what is the best way that you can find peace? By finding a method of relaxation, you can recharge your energy so that you'll be better able to face daily challenges. And release is let go. What can you let other people do? By taking a good look at what others can do, we can ask for help and accept assistance. Yeah. Okay. So these are the resources that I said. Right? Personal and professional wellness, physical, emotional, and spiritual health, exercise, leisure, relaxation, effective communications and timetable for visitors, spirituality and social health. Yeah. So these are the summaries for today's talk, right? Okay. So any questions and you need me to ask? Just give me about 2 minutes toilet break. I'll come back in 2
Sure,
minutes.
Father.
Yeah. So just then we can ask William and talk to Jared for a while. Yeah.
No worries, Father. As you know, Father takes his short break. I also want to encourage. We have, I think, more than 50, almost close to 60 viewers on YouTube. So, any questions that you have about caregiving and mental health, please feel free to put it into the chat group, and we will be happy to, get your answers from Father. So, please just let us know the kind of questions that you'd like to learn more about from this very illuminating talk. Also in the chat group is the resources that Father has shared, the Zarit Burden interview. I think that's going to be an important resource for us to, self-assess, the kind of burden that you might be facing as a caregiver. I think my colleague Crystal will also be sharing a resource, a very helpful resource from the ministry that Father leads, which is the Archdiocese Mental Health Ministry. And, for those who actually need help, all you need to do is go online to seekcounsel.archkl.org and, fill in a quick online form, and they will reach out to you, to be able to share with you and listen, most importantly. So yeah, I welcome any questions. And right now, as we wait for Father, I also want to maybe bring on Gerard, who is our host from the District Pastoral Council, the South KL District Pastoral Council. Hi, Gerard. Hi, good morning. I think you're on mute right now, Gerard.
Hi, Jacinta.
Yeah, Gerard,
Hi. Hi,
maybe
Jacinta.
while we wait for Father, I just wanted to understand why these mental health talks being organized by the district, and why the focus on these topics.
Okay. I think during this pandemic, the District Pastoral Council have noticed that these are the areas or situations where majority of the public are actually going through, either silently or without knowledge. So we've actually because of this understanding, we decided to have this talk, to reach out to the public, to reach out to everyone who's actually needed, who actually want a maybe not a fixed solution, but just a relief, or maybe just um, an understanding as to what needs to be done, what can be done to help them in this time of need, this time of pandemic. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gerard. Yeah, I think it's such a timely topic, and mental health is definitely front and center, not just within us, the church, but also as a nation, in terms of the focus on health. And I think right now we will be sharing on our screens the resources for the Archdiocese Mental Health Ministry. The Life Journey Wellness Center, of course, is located in Kajang, but like I mentioned, there's definitely resources online. The website is https seekcounsel.archkl.org, and of course, there are phone numbers for WhatsApp or an email that you can reach out to them for. And bringing Father Philip back to the conversation. Father, we
Yep.
have some questions on YouTube
Okay.
and
Okay.
from some of our viewers. So Elizabeth Lai would like to understand, from the stages of caregiver burnout,
Mhm.
can we actually apply these stages for those who are under adversity? I think, Father, this relates to the fact that a lot of what you've shared, also can be applied in other areas of our mental health. So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. It can actually relate very closely to our other aspect of our life as well, no? Yeah. It always come from our frustration, then we become despair, and then become burnout. Yeah. So these are the three areas that we need to look at too, the stages. Yeah. Yeah. It varies from person to person actually. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Father, there's also, I guess my question as we wait for more questions to
Yep.
come in from our viewers,
Mhm.
one thing that you brought up was, this idea of, asking for help. And
Mhm.
I was just wondering, for people who are, maybe not necessarily as comfortable using that assertive language, I think you brought it up in one of your slides about how we would talk to our healthcare professionals regarding the
Mhm.
care of our loved one. And so, what are the tips of using assertive languages with those healthcare professionals or when asking for help? And even like you mentioned, having a schedule for visitors to follow. Because sometimes, in our culture, we don't
Right.
want to,
Yes.
I suppose we feel it's impolite to tell people you can only
Yeah.
visit from this hour and things like that.
Yeah.
So what are your tips for, people who are in that position, Father?
Yeah. Because you know why? Because as a caregiver, you don't have a lot of time for yourself. So you cannot bring people to come in to visit you, even doctors who come in to see you, nurses come to see you when you're busy taking care of your loved ones. No? So by telling them that this is my time available, please come in this time so that my loved ones is ready after shower, after meal, then he's more presentable to the visitors, to the nurses and doctors, so that it give them the dignity of a person. No? Yeah, and also you as a caregiver, they will respect you. Also, the caregiver, you have a limited time for yourself. So when coming, when I'm done all my work, my duties, my routine, then can come. It's better like that. Yeah, it's more practical. The assertive is very
Okay.
important. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I think like you said, Father, there's a gentle way of doing it, right?
yes,
By saying that it's the dignity of the person that
yeah,
you are visiting, and I think even the rest of us who want to help, sometimes we feel that this is how we help someone else, and so the same thing can be done. But in reality, we should always ask how we can help and how we can be most useful, rather than imposing our expectations or our idea of what help looks like. Another thing, Father, if people are alone, there's another question on YouTube. So if you are alone, and your siblings are far away, they're not married, how do we console ourselves when we are the caregiver?
okay. These questions, if they cannot help physically, then they can help financially. Whatever contribution they can give, just receive it. Because as a caregiver, if you are doing full time, you have to let go of your work, and you cannot do full time your work, you do part time. Maybe you don't have enough expenses for yourself. So maybe your siblings, other family members have to chip in some other way to help you to taking care of your loved ones as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that a few times in our talk about that conversation with the family. But Father, what about those who may not have siblings? For example, they're the only child, what happens then?
Networking, the networking is important. The community have to come in. The BEC, the church as a community must come in to help out. So that's how we, the role of the BEC
Absolutely, Father. Yeah,
individual.
it's beyond our, monthly rosary or monthly reflection. This is what it means to be in our, a Catholic community.
Correct.
Okay. Father, we also have a question from Rosalind Simon, that says that some children feel that they shouldn't actually tell the diagnosis, I suppose, especially if it's a terminal diagnosis, to the elderly parents. And, does this can this actually add stress to the caregiver because they know that there is, this terminal, or, I suppose not a positive diagnosis, but then they have to basically hide that, from the person they're caring for.
Personally speaking, with my experience when my late parents, especially my mom, when she was told by the doctors that because of the kidney failure, she cannot last long. So of course, my sibling don't dare to talk about it. It's a taboo to tell the parents that you're going to go, and also very painful also at the same time. So I talked to my elder brother. I talked to him, say it's time for us to tell them our mother, and be brave enough to tell, because my elderly mother also need to know how to prepare herself, so that whatever she want to say to us, she can say, and we can prepare well, and she can prepare herself well. So it's also a very peaceful way of doing that, and we can. So I talked to my brother, and my brother also very shy. So I'm a priest, so I talked to my mom. So I talked to my mom, and my mom said, "I'm not going to die so soon." So she
It's
will
positive.
respond very positive to me. So okay, I say, if the doctor said like this already, and then my father also chipped me and say, "No worry, if you are going, then we're going to prepare well for you. We're going to prepare everything, the funeral well for you." So my father also agreed what I'm saying, so that we prepare well for my late mom, and my father also did the same thing also. So we came up with a very good conversation, and there is no hindrance of being fear that we be saying wrong thing. However, it's the right thing to say, for ourselves and also for the elderly terminal, the parents. Yeah.
I think that, like you mentioned, Father, it's important that we journey with them, in this final phase. And so, where possible, the truth, I think, makes it easier on the caregiver and as well as the person who, is on that, final journey. Yeah.
That's right. Because
Um,
at times that the caregiver don't to say, and our terminal loved ones have no time to say goodbye to us. We have no good time, not enough time to ask forgiveness what we have done wrong to him or her. It's good conversation and good closure actually.
and I know there are, I think, resources online, or maybe even talking to you, Father, or a priest, the parish priest, on how to broach this very difficult and painful subject as well. We have a personal sharing from one of our viewers who said that she felt empty, but she also felt free after, her grandmother passed away, and also another family member, her father, passed away. And I suppose because most of the time was spent taking care of the father. And is this a normal feeling, Father, for the caregiver sometimes to have these feelings of emptiness and also maybe, even freedom? Yeah.
It's normal actually.
Mhm.
There's no right or wrong for feelings and emotions. No, we have to accept the person, he or she going through all these are true to him or her. The only way that we can do is to allow the person to express freely, and after express freely, and then this person will find meaning in her life to move on rather than saturated in that moment of emptiness. Yeah, yeah, the
I guess,
moving on is very important for him or her. Yeah.
yeah, I think, Father, like I think, you said that, in one of the sessions that you were talking about earlier, that whole level of acceptance, right? And so I suppose when you accept your emotions, you can work through them and then be able to move on. So, yeah. Okay,
Yes.
thank you,
Yeah.
Father. What about you asked me, right, if something would happen to me, I have my spouse, for example, to be the caregiver. So sometimes families find themselves in a position where obviously the child is the primary caregiver, but the spouse and the children are also at home and also experiencing this. So although you understand that your spouse is the primary caregiver, you may end up feeling some, I don't know whether it's, some sort of emotion because of the time your spouse has to spend taking care of the elderly parent. So how do you console yourself in that position or in that role?
Try to chip in to share the responsibility together. Even if it's in-laws also, try to chip in your time and share the responsibility together. Then the burden will be shared also. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's if you focus on consoling your spouse or the partner, and you also, focus on the caregiving as well, maybe then you will find meaning in that entire process as a family. Because it is true, Father, this, caregiving of an elderly person impacts the whole family,
True.
Um,
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. Yeah. That's why the challenges, the family life, the family relationship are challenged. Yeah.
what are your thoughts, Father, about involving children in the caregiving of an ailing person at home?
Yeah, it's very healing. Actually, if you have children and your elderly parents are at home, and ask the grandchildren to come and to talk to your grandparents, and with their grandparents. I think it's very healing actually. Share the story, accompany, because there's some research in some home for the aged, the community bring the younger children to the home for the aged, and the elderly people are very very happy. They feel very lifted up their spirit, because they can see the young ones. They are very innocent. They are very caring, very loving. They sing songs, this and that. uh, Actually, it's very very healing. Actually, yeah.
I guess it brings joy to the ailing person to have that presence of their
That's right.
grandchildren with
Yeah,
them.
correct. Yeah.
Um, Father, I think there's a lot of questions, a lot of appreciation actually, in the YouTube also for your sharing today. I think, some of us may not necessarily be in a position of, needing to spend a huge amount of our life on caregiving, but most of us will eventually get there because we either live in multi-generation homes, and,
Right.
we definitely still, are responsible for the elderly in our lives. Um, but there are also, I suppose, the professional end of caregivers, right?
Mm.
Caregivers who make this their life mission. Sometimes it's not even professional, but the helpers in our lives,
Yes.
like you
Yes.
meant, and they end up sometimes, being the primary caregiver for a person. So how do is there a difference, you think, about if you are related or a family member versus this is something that you know um, ends up being your calling, or your profession to do?
I think in terms of affections, professional one, they can give the service. However, the relationship, the affection is not there. It's not so close as the family members at the primary caregiver. You know, and the professional caregiver might not be long term actually.
Mm,
Sometimes it can be long term, sometimes not be. However, what I'm saying is this: the affections. Affection is there. The caring of services is different also. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So I suppose, that's why it's important for the family to still be involved in, some way with, and, make sure they engage with the ailing person at home. But I suppose, I definitely have seen helpers, who, end up being the caregiver and having a really, really close, relationship and really caring for, the person. And, because they build that relationship for sure.
So it's important also to appreciate the helpers, the professional helpers, and also to give them time off,
Yeah.
especially when they need of their leisure time, going to church on Sunday. Allow them to take a day off. It's also fair for them as well, because they are also helping full time and they need the time off for themselves. Else, themselves will end up with some mental health issues later on. Yeah, like
Yeah.
burnout, what we said today. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people, are really talking about how this talk is enlightening, and, they value the resource of, being able to reach out to the Archdiocese mental health, ministry. And it's a healing talk. I mean, that's, what is actually being mentioned in our YouTube comments, the fact that it is an opportunity to self-examine and, open up, and, Father, like you mentioned, right, how do we move forward also.
Yeah.
Father, one of the things that, as you were talking, it reflected on me that actually caregiving is a part of our Catholic faith. It is such an important part of even the Bible. Like, we know about Ruth, she clung to Naomi and still wanted to be that, caregiver for her mother-in-law.
Yeah.
And, definitely Jesus was the ultimate caregiver. He showed us how to have a servant's heart,
Yep.
right? That
Yep.
whole level of sacrifice that,
Yeah.
that caregivers do on a daily basis, right? You sacrifice yourself, to love others. So,
Right.
you spoke further about going to church, making the time to, pray, meditate, right? And so say the rosary. So, you talked about drawing strength from those religious, our religion and our faith. How do you think, caregivers can really focus what they do as their act of service?
Yeah. I give you one example. Many years ago, I went to visit a home where their son is handicapped, and the mother came and talked to me and said, "Father, it's very stressful for me. I got burnout because of this. Every day, I had to carry him and to feed him. He cannot move here and there." At that time, I was still not very focused on mental health and caregiver. So I told her using my own knowledge. I said, Jesus said, when you do the least of this little one, you do to me. So I say, when you taking care of your son with a handicap, you look at him like you are looking at Jesus. You love him like you are loving Jesus. You care for him like you're caring for Jesus, because of this word that Jesus said. And I don't know, this word has impacted her a lot. And the following time, the following visit, I went there and she said, "Father, thank you for sharing that message to me. Now I feel no stress when taking care of my handicapped son. I feel very, very blessed and very beneficial, very rewarding, because I taking care of Jesus in front of me." Yeah. So that's why I say, connecting to our spiritual life, our faith, it helps us to give us strength and grace. Even at times we feel very exhausted, very overwhelmed with our emotions. We feel we are hopeless, very empty, And Jesus can use this opportunity to enrich us in our relationship with Him and make our life, our faith very alive. Our faith is not just dead. St. James said, faith without action is dead. So faith must put in actions. How to put action? We need to connect to God. And at times we are feeling stressed, very overwhelmed. Go back to our rosaries, go back to our Eucharist, go back to our sacrament of confession, of conciliation, get the strength from the Lord.
Amen.
With the word of God, let the Lord shine our path, our path, our guide in our life. I think that is important for all of us. Yeah.
That is such a beautiful note, Father, and such a powerful message, I think, for everyone who is a caregiver and struggling. I think that's such a powerful message about, what they're doing now is really a reflection of their faith and journey with God.
Yeah. I believe all caregivers who are doing caregiving to their loved ones now, those who are viewers at the YouTube, I want to ensure you and guarantee you receive 1,000 blessings. You
Amen.
receive 1,000 blessings here and now, no? Not in the future, however here and now. God bless you and God be with you and God strengthen you and always there for you. Yeah, just call out and cry out to Him. Yeah.
Thank you, Father. And Father, as we draw our session to a close, I'd like to invite you to say a prayer of blessing over, the caregivers.
Yeah. Okay. In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father God, we thank you and praise you for this beautiful morning that you gathered us together to listen to this talk, caregiver and mental health. Lord God, I ask you to shower our caregiver now and those are caregiving recipients, your blessing, your strength, and your love, so that whatever we do to glorify your names. Bless us, shower us a blessing and grace. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
The
Amen.
Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
May Almighty God bless you, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Thank you so much, Father. God bless you, Father.
Thank you, and thanks all our South District Pastoral Council, our technical team who are here behind the scene. Garrett is here, William and Crystal, and also Jacinta from our Holy Family, who is very active in our social com. Thank you so much for being a moderator this morning, and for all the viewers this morning to join us in this webinar. And God bless you all, and pray for one another, and especially pray for me, and especially pray for our ministry, mental health ministry. And also later on, we're going to come out with our Shalom Care Line. It's an emotional support care line telephone call. If you need any help, you can call this line. We're going to announce very soon. Thank you and have a blessed weekend.
Thank you so much, Father. Thank you. And thank you, Father. God bless you. So I also want to encourage everyone who is watching this program, do share the link with your family and friends, for those who may find this talk beneficial and useful to them. And again, on behalf of the KL South District Pastoral Council, I wanted to thank Father Philip for sharing with us this amazing talk about caregiver and mental health. It's that message about taking time to care for ourselves as we care and serve others. So do join us for our next talk, which is going to happen on October 30th. And this is going to be a very relevant and much needed conversation on grief and loss in this pandemic. And, by Father Philip as well. So thank you everyone for joining us this Saturday morning, and have a lovely weekend. God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye. See you again.